we'll get started. And I want to welcome everyone to the June 17th Food Board of the Carter County Commission. There are a few agendas available over here if you would like to have one sitting right there. I think Michael could name one or two out if you need it. But also I would ask if you would silence your phones, please, to avoid any interruptions or distractions while someone's speaking or any presentations. So with that being said, we'll get along and call to order. If you'll call the roll, Madam Clerk, please. Here we go. All right, we have one absent, Mr. Lyons. I think he had some test run today and haven't heard any update on that. But of course, we want to remember him. Glad to have Mr. Johnson back with us this last month, but certainly here. We're happy to have you back, and I feel good about taking the chair from him. But we'd certainly love to see you up here, Brad. So get back on your feet, and we'll have you up here as soon as you can. And we'll move on to the emergency egress plan by Mr. Smith, Gary Smith.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who may not have attended the county commission meeting before, in the unlikely event that we need to evacuate this room, our primary evacuation route is the south entrance of the building, which is the monument entrance, and the assembly point in the back parking lot. Our secondary evacuation route is the stairwell across from the elevators on the north end of the building, and again, the assembly point is the back parking lot. And just for a matter of convenience, the restrooms are located on the north end of the building, which is this end, on the first and second floors. The second floor restrooms are handicap accessible, and in the unlikely event that we need it, there is an AED machine down next to the elevator on the first floor. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Greg Smith. I jumped ahead on number 3, but we'll move on to approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Mr. Hill, second by Mr. James. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. The agenda is approved. And we'll move on to the opening prayer led by Mr. Willard Campbell. Please stand.
Heavenly Father, God, Lord, bow our heads, Lord, approach your throne of grace. Lord, thank you for this day, Lord, that you've given us. Lord, we thank you, Lord, that you've watched over each one of us, Lord, and kept your hands upon us. Lord, tonight we know that Brother Lyons is not here with us, Lord. We just pray, God, that you have your anointing up on him, Lord, that you'll give him strength back, Lord. He'll be back with us before long. Lord, we pray for Brother Brad Johnson that's with us tonight, Lord. We can see that you've had your touch upon him, Lord. We pray, God, your anointing still be upon him and strengthen him. God, help him through it. Lord, we do pray for this commission, Lord. God, we pray for each one that's represented here. Lord, we pray for each one that's represented in this county, God, that you watch over them, Lord. But God, most of all, we thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ, to give his life for us, that we can have life and have it more abundantly. Lord, we thank you today for the blessings of life. God, we ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. If you remain standing, if Travis Hill, if you'll do our pledge of allegiance, sir.
Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we'll move on to recognition of elected and appointed officials and guests. If you will stand, please, be recognized. We'll move on to the acceptance of the May meeting minutes, please. Motion to approve the minutes. Motion by Mr. Blevins, here's a second. Second by Ms. McCamey. Any discussion on the minutes? Mr. Hill.
Just a couple, page 634, under the absent votes, I think Randall Jenkins was left off. But there's 5 people absent that meeting.
That all you got? All right. Good. Ms. Patsy, thank you for your hard work on those. With that correction, you'll call the roll to approve the minutes, please. All ayes, motion carries. Thank you. And the approval of notaries and bonds.
James King, Gary Smith, Mary Evelyn Buck, Henry J. Birchfield, Kimberly Ayers, Kenneth Paul Murphy, Stephanie Michelle Ward, Jackie Barnett, Melissa Lewis, Mary Lee, Michael G. Bass Blair, Veronica Starnay, Tammy Potter, Cody Shell, Anna Denny, and add Allison Odell and Sherry Vanderbilt.
Motion to approve.
Second. A motion approved by Ms. Culler, second by Mr. Grindstaff. If you'll call the roll, please. Motion carries. Thank you. At this time, we'll open the floor for public comments. Give you 5 minutes per person on that, if you will. State your names and come up and your address, please. Public comments? Mr. McGee? Or Mr. Bland, I'm sorry, wrong guy. Sorry about that. State your name, please. Mr. McGee's in the back, I'm sorry. I saw him. My apologies.
Shoot, if that's the only thing today, it's a good day, isn't it?
Yeah, really.
Thank you for your time, ladies and gentlemen. First, I'm not here to complain, and I'm not here to ask for money. So, there's a difference right off the bat. But I would like to share something with you. I started with the animal shelter over a decade ago. What started off with a flatbed trailer at Ingles parking lot playing guitar and trying to get some food has ended up with an ongoing process that just continues to on-go. With fundraisers and benefits and the help of the city and the help of the county and many committees and monthly meetings with a lot of very important people, we were finally able to shut down the old shelter and build a new shelter. And I thought that was the end of it. I thought I could go back and play golf and have some fun with my family. And it was just the beginning. And the day that we opened up the shelter and had our groundbreaking for that shelter, I played guitar and sang, and there was a problem. There was a problem with the HVAC system. There was a problem with the ventilation system. You could automatically see just going through there that we had some serious issues with cool in this room and not even vents in this room. And then it got into cold, and we had freezing cold in the winter and blistering hot in the summer. And vent system that didn't work, and irrigation systems that didn't work, and sewage issues that didn't work. And then it was he said and she said, and it's the fault of the electricians, it's the fault of the HVAC system. No, it's the fault of the mayor because he changed some plans, so that negated the warranties for the HVAC system. So no, it must have been the engineers. Well, no, it had to be probably the project manager. So no, so it was the hit, and years later, we are still fighting the same problems, trying to get a resolve on the same issues that we started the day we opened up the door. It looks like it was never going to get fixed. Nothing's ever going to happen. During that process, I had cancer twice. The last one was 2017. depression is a horrible thing. It just kind of hits you every once in a while, and it just happens. 2017 was a real bad year. I thought I was going to be gone on that one, but I pulled through that one just fine. So 4 months ago, the day after you called me, I was diagnosed with cancer the third time. Premonition, call it what you will, but Mr. Van Cannon called and said, I was just thinking about you. Everything okay? Yeah, and I was diagnosed with cancer the third time 4 months ago. And this one here was a recurrence of the second time, and this one had a survival rate of about 25%. So I thought, that's it. So I spent 4 months literally picking out tombstones, finding a burial plot, visiting my grandkids and my great-grandkids to say goodbye. And I thought it was over. So I had plenty of time to think about all the things that I accomplished and all the things that didn't get accomplished. And the animal shelter, as petty as you may think that is, but having tackled this problem for months, for almost 12 years, I'm going to go down with this animal shelter still in so much trouble. And that was on my head, on my mind. So finally, I had, by the almighty gift of God, when they did the last biopsy on me and went in to make sure of what it was, instead of just doing a biopsy, they were able to go in and they removed 2 masses from my stomach about the size of golf balls. And those masses, when they were removed, the red light from the PET scan went out. I was downgraded. No treatment is further necessary. We're just going to keep a watch on it. So after I called my kids and my grandkids and told them the good news, I called Shannon. Top 10. Called Shannon. Okay, where are we at on the shelter? When I was left, I just found out that the clothes washer machine was not working properly. We have 170 cats, 60 dogs, and they put a plumbing system in there for residential. You gotta be kidding. Here we go. So Shannon, where are we at now? And she said, are you sitting down? I said, yeah. And she said, finally, somebody said, that's it. I'm done. I'm over this crap. And they went in and took charge. And I am pleased and thrilled to announce that at the last meeting a few days ago, the HVAC system, $30,000 to fix and repair along with the ventilation system, is fixed. The ventilation system is fixed. There's nice, cool air coming through there. There is no pet odor. The system that was broken as far as all the drainage is fixed. The clothes washer has been ordered. If it's not here today, it will be here within the next few days, commercial grade. It's fixed. All the problems that have been plaguing us for all these years are either fixed or on schedule to be fixed. And we have to thank for that Mr. Chris Schuler. He's the guy that took charge and got this done. Now, I have went with Chris on several occasions, professionally as a realtor and individually, and asked for help, and he's always been Johnny on the spot. He always has the phone numbers to call. He is the most professional person and a get-her-done person that I know of in this community. So this community and the animal shelter and this panel right here in the city owes Mr. Schuler a huge, huge thank you. And if we have an attaboy or a get her done, got her done award, he ought to get it. Mr. Schuler, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And please, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
John,
Yes, sir.
this is a hero. This man, in addition to having a passion for animals, he also has a passion for children. The Boys and Girls Club has given guitar lessons to how many now? 60, 80 kids. And I remember the night you called me and asked for
Some guitars.
And you got them.
Got 12 of them. And that's been able, I got 11 grandkids and 2 great-grandkids. You just gotta keep going. You just gotta keep it going.
You're the hero.
No, I was saying, again, there's a lot of people put this stuff together, and I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Mr. Brown, we appreciate you volunteering our service to the community, and you are right. I mean, not just Chris, but he's certainly the thanks for the job well done down there, and I know Shannon and her team appreciate that as well. So thank you for those words, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Ryder.
All right. Councilman
Chris
Chris.
Frazier. I just come tonight, I wanted to speak on Chris's behalf. When we were working on the Snap-on deal up here, I got with the mayor and I needed somebody to push it. And I went to Chris and Chris jumped in there and he ran with it. He helped us get that worked out. And I know the city and county now have come together and everything up there is going to be great. We're fixing to start construction. We've called him about the animal shelter every time we need him over there, he's there. He's never said no that I know of. And I really would like to thank Chris for everything that he does. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your service as well, City Council. Appreciate it very much. Next. If you'll state your name.
My name is Kelly Arnold. I'm with Tennessee Recovery and Monitoring. I'm a terrible, terrible public speaker, so please forgive me if I stutter. I represent a company that calls on courts, and we are ankle monitors, GPS monitors, alcohol monitors, drug patches for the criminal justice system. I kind of got thrown into this meeting tonight, so I've never been in front of anyone like this. We have a piece of legislation that has gone through the House. It's been passed, House Bill number 950, that is basically going to allow GPS electronic monitoring to be covered under the Electronic Monitoring Indigent Fund. So if a judge decides that a client that is in jail, that is incarcerated, is deemed indigent, they can't pay to get out, but they can possibly be funded by the fund to have an ankle monitor or a drug patch. This fund will pay for it. It has been, it's been around since about 2016. We went through, had a lobbyist. They have changed it just a tiny bit now. They have asked that the counties contribute 50% towards the fund for the state to cover the fund. Right now, I believe that the mayor's office just recently received the information from the Treasury, David Connor, a letter explaining that to them. The letter is also requiring that the county commission go into their budget and possibly put in electronic monitoring indigent fund memorandum of understanding, as well as a resolution for local government to participate in this fund. Currently, Carter County, as of 2018, Carter County saved $172,718 for 2,366 monitored days through your court system that had about 34 monitored offenders. Now that's at an average of about almost $80 a day. And I know that it doesn't cost $80 a day to incarcerate, but that's on the national average, and that's what they were giving us. So I come to you all just to notify you. I'm not sure if you all have been presented with this information yet. I know that the mayor had just received it. I've been in Granger County, Jefferson County, Sullivan County. Jefferson County just came up with a resolution for $15,000. They're going to be matched for $15,000 by the state. The electronic monitoring is not only to help reduce the jail overcrowding, which your jail is not too terribly bad. I believe as of April you were at 92%. But this monitoring fund is crucial for rehabilitation, reducing recidivism, and obviously for the jail overcrowding problem. The beauty of this new law is that it's going to allow GPS monitoring back on the program, which it did in the beginning, and then they just strictly went for drug and alcohol monitoring. Now they're going to allow GPS monitoring, and this is going to help with work release programs, as well as getting people back into the community and helping them work, but still have some sort of control, and being able to have them show up to court for failure to appear. It'll help reduce the failure to appear issues as well. Back in 2017, you all had about $3,200 worth of alcohol monitors, $1,300 in drug patches. total of about $4,500. In 2018, you went up to about $12,000. This year, we billed the state for $12,000 and we're only in June. So that number is going to increase. So I just wanted to come and present that to you all, let you all know what's coming down the pipeline. This is going to begin July 1st. If the county does not have a resolution to come up with a budget for the state towards electronic monitoring, we will have to put, as of right now, today, it's about 10 clients back into the jail because we have to take those monitors off. So as a company, we wanted to let you all know that this is something that's happening. The state did not make it an easy announcement. I know that everybody's already working on their budget already. I've got lots of paperwork and documents. If anybody's interested, I'll be in the back whenever after the meeting. But I just wanted to come and let you all know that this is coming down the pipeline. So thank you for your time.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, sir. Mr. Johnson.
Why did you wait for the last meeting?
I'm sorry, we just found out as well.
And so you got a mandate of less than 30 days for such a thing when our budget cycle is going through, you didn't go through committee.
I wish that I had say in it. The state has actually sent a letter out. It came out May 31st is what we were told. Didn't state it May 31st, but from what I was told, a lot of mayors just received it. They are going to allow the resolutions to go through till September 15th. So they'll cover the monitors that are put on or that are already in place before September 15th. But the counties have to have the resolutions in by September 15th.
So there's time. And just go through committee.
Yeah, that'd be great, and we appreciate you coming up. That's the normal procedure. Things aren't presented, certainly with affecting the budget or any kind of money. Those are brought forth to the appropriate committee and followed through. Dr. Aiko.
I assume, I just pulled the bill up here, it's a one-time operation of $20 million, is that correct?
Actually, they said that I'm not 100% sure on that part as far as the legislation. I can give you that information if you'd like to go through it, but they will go back and refund it every year is what I was told.
You do have some paperwork?
Yes, sir, I've got the legislation and I've got the information from Judge Connors from the treasurer as well.
Okay, yeah, if you want to leave it just right there on the,
Yes,
Mr. Kennedy, that'd be great.
Okay.
We'll certainly pass them out and take a look at that.
Get it to me.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else, public comments? Seeing none, we will close the session for public comments and move on to item 11, our resolutions. And first one, A, resolution honoring Lieutenant William Michael Fraley for 30 years of service with the Carter County Sheriff's Office. We'll let Mr. Mayor, if you want to come up. I think you can probably read from there and say. Yeah, I got it. You got it there. Right there. You got a big one here? I think we'll let Attorney Hardin handle the resolution. You want to handle that?
Yes, right. This is a resolution honoring Lieutenant William Michael Fraley for his 30 years of service to the citizens of Carter County and the Carter County Sheriff's Office. Whereas Lieutenant William Michael Fraley is a lifelong resident of Carter County who has served his community and the citizens of Carter County as an employee of the Carter County Sheriff's Office for over 30 years since being hired as a deputy jailer on May 17, 1989. Whereas Lieutenant Fraley graduated from the Police Academy and was assigned to Patrol Division in October of 1989, and he was subsequently promoted to Patrol Sergeant on November 1, 1992. Whereas Lieutenant Fraley was wounded in the line of duty on June 15, 1994, he was shot in the chest while responding to a call for service but he persevered to recover from his injuries and return to work and attained the rank of lieutenant on August 1, 1995. Whereas Lieutenant Fraley has been assigned several leadership positions during his 30-year career with the Sheriff's Office, including criminal investigator, member of the SWAT team, school resource officer, supervisor, assistant jail administrator, critical incident counselor, field training officer, firearms instructor, and general departmental instructor. Whereas Lieutenant Fraley has received numerous awards during his law enforcement career, including being named East Tennessee Law Enforcement Officer of the Year in 1994. Whereas throughout his distinguished career with the Sheriff's Office, Lieutenant Fraley has selflessly worked to serve and protect the citizens of Carter County and has literally put his life on the line in service to others. Whereas it is appropriate for the Carter County Mayor and Board of County Commissioners to honor citizens whose selfless public service has benefited their community and the citizens of Carter County in significant ways. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners for Carter County, Tennessee, meeting in regular session on this 17th day of June 2019 with a lawful quorum of said board being present with majority voting in the affirmative, that the board, being joined by Carter County Mayor Russell Barnett, hereby honors Lieutenant William Michael Fraley for his selfless sacrifice he has made over 30 years of service to the citizens of Carter County as a member of the Carter County Sheriff's Office.
Make a motion.
Motion by Ms. Brown, second by Ms. Culler. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, if you'll call the roll, please. All right.
Actually, I will say one thing. I swear I didn't know. Thank you all so much. 30 years ago, I put this badge on. And there was an old sergeant that when he saw me for the first time, he talked about keeping the badge on both sides. I really didn't know what he meant. I thought, people only see one side of it. About a year ago, the same sergeant, he passed away of brain cancer. And I was talking to him, and he said, Mike, we've been through a lot of fights together, and been through a lot. He said, but I've got in a fight I can't win. And I said, Bob, you got your heart right. You won this fight. And it kind of hit home a couple weeks ago. On the eve of my 30-year mark, I was at the police academy. And to try to paint a picture of it, we divided up into two groups. My group was finished. And I was walking back to the shed to get a drink of water or something. There was an old sergeant, retired from John City J.R. Answer. He had another group of kids over there. And he was talking to them about keeping both sides of their badge on. Kind of hit home. I hope I've done honor by it. Thank you.
Let us move over out of the way.
We got it. John, you got it? Come on. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I would like to say, we have some of his family here, if they would like to be here and be recognized. I know we got, well, took one out of there, but I get to go to church with these guys. It is a privilege to know them, and for what they've done for this county, we should really be thankful. Brian, he belongs with the TBI investigation, so he's out there giving his life as well every day. So, Lieutenant Fraley, we appreciate your service to this county and making this a better place to live. So, thank you very much. Yes,
Thank you.
thanks a lot. I appreciate it. All right, we'll move on to item B, and a resolution honoring Jerry Griffin for service to Carter County Whitewater Racking Community.
Okay, this is a resolution honoring Mr. Jerry Griffin for his service to the citizens of Carter County and the whitewater rafting community. Whereas Carter County has a worldwide reputation for extraordinary whitewater paddling on the Doe River, Watauga River, Elk River, and other streams, it is appropriate to recognize and honor a man who has been instrumental in the development of the sport in our county. Whereas Jerry Griffin has been a member and officer of the Appalachian Paddling Enthusiasts for over 2 decades, and his humble demeanor and servant's heart have been a shining example to the local paddling community. Mr. Griffin is always one of the first to help with a river access project or river cleanup and to guide a beginner or intermediate paddler down a local river. Whereas Mr. Griffin has played a key role over the years in providing volunteer labor and equipment for many local river access projects, and he has helped spearhead projects with federal agencies, municipalities, businesses, and landowners to improve and maintain existing river access locations and develop new sites. Whereas Mr. Griffin was one of the major contributors to the development of the Green Bridge Landing Park in Hampton, to take out from the world-famous Doe River Gorge and put in for the run down the river to Elizabethton. He also performed the bulk of the volunteer work on improvements at Herschel Julian Landing on Barricades Road, and put in for the run through Doe River Gorge. In addition, he helped organize and carry out this year's Doe River cleanup, only the most recent of many cleanup projects in which he has participated. Whereas as a result of his tireless efforts in Carter County and throughout Northeast Tennessee, Mr. Griffin was recognized by American Whitewater, the United States premier advocate for the preservation and protection of whitewater rivers, representing a broad diversity of individual whitewater enthusiasts, river conservationists, and more than 100 local paddling club affiliates across America, as its National Volunteer of the Month for May 2019. Whereas it is appropriate for the Carter County Mayor and the Board of County Commissioners to honor citizens whose selfless public service has benefited their community and the citizens of Carter County in significant ways. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Carter County, Tennessee, meeting in regular session on this the 17th day of June 2019, with the lawful quorum of said board being present and a majority voting in the affirmative, that the board, being joined by Carter County Mayor Russell Barnett, hereby honors Jerry Griffin for his many contributions to the sport of whitewater paddling in Carter County, and offers a sincere congratulations on his well-deserved recognition by American Whitewater.
So moved.
Second. Motion by Dr. Rakoff, second by Mr. Hill. If you'll call the roll. All right, the motion carries on. The resolution is passed. Thank you very much. And mic is open if you'd like to say anything.
I do want to thank you all for doing this. This is a great memento to Jerry. You all knew how many hours he put in behind the scenes and doing a lot of this stuff. I mean, we have, just in about a year and a half time, we have taken, which was a really hard place to access the river in several spots, and turned it in. I pulled into the Doe River Gorge last week while I was running, and pulled into the new Herschel Julian Landing, and it's worlds better. We've stopped erosion. by putting down the matting, and we have adequate parking spaces. Jerry, by itself, has bonded the county and landowners together through these projects, and it's been just great to be a part of it. So thank you all. Appreciate it.
And we thank you, Mr. Bradley, I believe, right? Is that right? Yeah, for your work. We understand how lucky we are to have these natural resources in our county, and we're so fortunate to have people that do volunteer their time and efforts to improve them. So thank you very much. Well-deserved honor. Item C is a resolution authorizing application for acceptance of the TDOT litter grant.
This is, as he said, an application for the litter grant. We've been getting it for many years. And this is the latest version of it. We have to adopt a resolution in order to receive the funding. I'll answer any last questions.
Any questions for Attorney Hart? Concerning the litter? Motion. Got a motion by Ms. Culler, second by Mr. Jennings. Any discussion on the application? Seeing none, call for the vote. All ayes. Resolution is adopted. Thank you. And the next item B is a resolution declaring Carter County a Second Amendment sanctuary county.
I would say we won't read this one, Steve.
Yes, if you don't mind, let's hear it all about the Constitution.
This is a resolution declaring Carter County, Tennessee a Second Amendment sanctuary county. Whereas the founders of this great country and establishing our government drafted the Constitution of the United States of America to provide a framework by which the citizens of this country could live and prosper free from fear and oppression. Whereas in their wisdom, the founders also ensured that certain inalienable rights and freedoms would be guaranteed to the citizens of this country through the ratification of the first 10 amendments to the United States Constitution, collectively referred to as the Bill of Rights. Whereas the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America provides, quote, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, quote. Whereas the United States Supreme Court in U.S. v. Miller in 1939 opined that firearms that are a part of ordinary military equipment or with the use that could contribute to the common defense are protected by the Second Amendment. Whereas the United States Supreme Court in the District of Columbia v. Heller in 2008 affirmed an individual's right to possess firearms unconnected with service in a militia for traditionally lawful purposes such as self-defense within the home. Whereas the United States Supreme Court in McDonald v. Chicago in 2010 affirmed that the right of an individual to keep and bear arms as protected under the Second Amendment is incorporated by the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment states. Whereas the drafters of the Constitution of the State of Tennessee also sought to ensure certain freedoms and rights would be guaranteed to the citizens of this state through the Declaration of Rights in Article 1 of the Tennessee Constitution, and specifically Article 1, Section 26 of the Constitution of the State of Tennessee provides, quote, that the citizens of this state have a right to keep and to bear arms for their common defense, but the legislature shall have power by law to regulate the wearing of arms with a view to preventing crime, end quote. Whereas various legislation had been proposed in the United States Congress and the Tennessee General Assembly which could infringe upon the rights of citizens of the United States of America and the state of Tennessee to keep and bear arms as guaranteed to said citizens by virtue of the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America and Article 1, Section 26 of the Constitution of the State of Tennessee. Whereas it is the desire of the Board of County Commissioners of Carter County, Tennessee to declare its support for the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America and Article 1, Section 26 of the Constitution of the State of Tennessee to protect the inalienable right of the citizens of Carter County to keep and bear arms. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Carter County, Tennessee, meeting in regular session on this 17th day of June 2019, with the lawful quorum of said board being present, majority voting in the affirmative, that the board hereby declares its support for the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America and Article 1, Section 26 of the Constitution of the State of Tennessee, so that the citizens of Carter County may continue to exercise their right to keep and bear arms. Be it further resolved that the Board of County Commissioners hereby declares Carter County, Tennessee to be a Second Amendment sanctuary county.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Mr. Hill, second by Mr. Brown right there. Any discussion on the resolution?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to point out that the constituent from my district that requested that I advance this is with us tonight. It's Mr. Joe Miller from District 2, Round Mountain, Tennessee. And we're glad to hear you.
Mr. Miller, thank you very much for presenting this to Mr. Hill, and a very important matter, but if you will call the vote. Any other discussion on the resolution? Call the vote, please. All ayes, the motion carries. Thank you very much. Very well, we'll move on to item 12, an appointment to fill vacancy on the Financial Management Committee. Got a question by Mr. Frazier there. Hand up, please.
No, go ahead.
All right. With that, there has been submissions in applications, and they are included in your packet. I will open the floor and entertain nominations. Mr. Frazier.
Nominate Travis Hill.
A nomination for Mr. Hill, Ms. Cullen.
Nominate Austin James.
Nomination for Mr. James.
I nominate Mr. Montana.
All right. Another nomination for Mr. Charles Montana. Any other nominations?
Move the nomination cease.
Got a motion for nominations to cease. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Profit, right there, I saw that. We'll call a roll on that, please. Motion for nominations to cease. Mr. Hill, and second by Mr. Profit. All ayes. Okay, thank you. We will, we'll take the nominations, and if you would come up and if you can, just offer us some, few kind words to us, and answer any questions if anyone would like to offer. Pardon?
Kind words?
Yes, kind words, and we'll start with the way nominations came in. Mr. Hill, if you come up, sir.
I'd just like to offer look at my experience and education with my current job, which y'all know I did put almost a 60-page internal control policy in the city of Elizabeth. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer for you.
Any questions for Mr. Hill?
Do you plan to resign from the budget as well?
No, ma'am.
All right, any other questions? If not, Mr. James, if you'd like to say a few words, sir.
I just appreciate the consideration, and I don't believe there's any wrong choice there. I believe each one will be a very good candidate, it doesn't matter what way it goes. We've operated the business for many, many years, and I've been very, very much in the aspects of it. Anybody have any questions or anything, I'll try to answer.
Any questions for Mr. James? Consideration, Mr. Montana?
I have been criticized for putting in a short resume on one occasion. However, at this time, I enjoyed the memories of 82 years of life, and then I began crying. I thought this couldn't happen to me, but it's been great. You've got to be at the right place at the right time, but you've got to have education preparing you for these things. I suggested some time ago that we finish the third floor of the jail, but only on the basis of a study, make a seat test to see if it would pay off. It's things of this sort that we need to try to expand the tax base in this county to take the burden off us old people. I don't know what the group thinks, but I do know one thing. I work at anything I get at, and I work at it. And that's all I've got to say.
Any questions for Mr. Von Cannon? We do know you work hard for us, and we appreciate all your service and your tenure to this county. And like Mr. James said, all qualified candidates two new guys coming on, you've done a fantastic job so far. And Charles, it just speaks for itself, your time here. And with that, we will, I'll turn it over to the clerk here, and if you will.
Hey, Ross.
Yes.
County Attorney, there's no problem between someone serving on the budget or on the financial committee.
Whether there's a problem or not is up to you all. I cannot say that it is prohibited, that someone can't serve on both. I think they can. I find no statute or rule or anything else that would outright prohibit it. There could be issues that come up, certainly, that would require extension on one committee or the other, but that choice is up to you all.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Attorney Hart. Anything else? If not, if you will, declare your nomination as your name is called, please.
Mark Williams.
Pardon? What? Yeah, just one for.
Yeah, just one thing.
And then this is to fill the spot by Mr. Richardson's vacancy this passing. Sorry about that. That was Von Cannon, is that correct, Mr. Clevens? Von Cannon.
Willie Campbell.
Hill.
Robert A. Cook.
James.
Nancy Brown.
Hill.
Mike Hill.
James.
Eddie Woodby. Hill. Brad Johnson.
James.
Ronnie Tribbett.
Von Cannon.
Charles Von Cannon.
Yes, ma'am.
Travis Hill.
Austin James.
James.
Isaiah Grindstaff.
Hill.
Jerry Crockett.
James.
Ross Garland.
Hill.
Ginger Hogan.
James.
Larry Ward. Hill. Randall Jenkins.
Hill.
Travis Hill.
Hill.
Gary Bailey.
James.
Ray Mines. Sonja Kohler.
James.
Aaron Frazier.
Hill.
Robin McKinney.
James.
Joey Collins.
James.
Ms. Clerk, I'd like to change my vote to Hill.
Madam Clerk, I'd like to change my vote to Hill.
You tally those up, Ms. Lewis. That's,
You need to change this to Hill. Why don't you change yours to Hill?
Hill.
and Mr. Trivett was Hill as well. Okay, that's, I can confirm that. That's 12 votes for Mr. Travis Hill and 10 for Mr. James. That's, should fill that vacancy, so congratulations, Mr. Hill.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Majority of 13 or more, if you don't, the last two are not. Correct.
No, it's 12 since there's a vacancy on the commission.
Because of the vacancy.
Yes, sir.
Stand correct.
So that was, thank you, Brad. Okay, we'll move to 13 and the appointment of the 8th seat for the Board of Carter County Commissioners. Those applications as well have been submitted. Scott.
I'd like to nominate David Miller.
Okay, got a nomination for Mr. David Miller. Let's see, I got Aaron Frazier, I think.
Cody McQueen.
Cody McQueen, Ms. Cullen.
Jeff Wynn.
Nomination for Mr. Gwynn, Mr. Buchanan. You have one or?
He'll be nominated.
I'll round out the field and nominate Lonnie Graham.
That was all of our submissions with the phone. And any nominations come from the floor?
Motion that nomination cease.
Motion, the nomination ceased by Mr. Hill, second by Ms. Cutler. Call the roll for that, please. All right, motion carries. So there are your nominations, and once again, we've got Mr. David Miller, Mr. Cody McQueen, Jeff Gwynn, and Donnie Graham. I'm not sure if everyone's here or not, but I'll start off the list if you are present. If you would address the committee to just kind of give us an overview of any kind of questions that may come up. As Mr. Miller here. If you will, state your name and the address that you live at, sir.
Good morning, Glade 2. I'm David Miller, live at 810 Tipton Street in Elizabeth. I've lived there for 30 years. I've worked in Carter County and lived in Carter County for over 30 years. I do not take this nomination process or application process lightly. I believe public service is very noble and would like to have an opportunity to do that. Also, I want you to know that I have no preconceived ideas or issues. Basically, I want to become a member of the commission to promote Carter County, make it the very best county it can possibly be, and also to help the citizens of the 8th district, which I've lived there for over 30 years. And I'll entertain any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Miller?
I've got more of a general question. Will the person that filled this seat end up having to run next year for that seat?
Correct.
Or is it the unexpired term?
August 2020.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. McQueen, if you'll address the committee, sir.
How are y'all doing? Let's see if I can get use this mic again. It's been a while. Cody McQueen, for those who don't know, 309 East Mill Street, Elizabeth, Tennessee. I'm a business owner in the 8th District as well. I own a business called the Blue Post next to the Blue Circle. If you haven't ate there, you should. It's a great place. Just briefly on my qualifications, my education, I graduated Pat Valley High School in 2008. Briefly went to Northeast State where I secured a Probability Statistics Award. After that, I went to the private sector, learned about small businesses, started my own business, started working my way through that. It was the honor of my life at 24 to join this body, serve 4 years on the commission, an enormous learning process, an enormous maturity process, and also a humbling experience to serve among some of you that are still here and some that were here and learn what it takes to work together in the legislative body. My experience was on buildings and grounds, law enforcement, health and welfare, and rules and bylaws. I would like to think that under Ray Lyon's leadership, Mr. Grindstaff, Sadie Grindstaff's leadership, we accomplished a lot of good things, a lot of buildings, projects ongoing with the courthouse and things that without them, I know it could not happen. A lot of rules are set in place that we use today. Going through these committees, so I have experience going through these committees, following the process, doing things in a way that's conducive to business. And mostly I just want to serve the people that put me here the first time. I've learned early on that when you're taking phone calls from citizens, they're not always in the district. In fact, most of the time they're not. And the things that they need are very real and tangible. It may be something as simple as figuring out where to vote. It may be a property line dispute or things that you may not have any expertise, but it's what you'll do, how you'll step out and step up to serve those people. And I had a lot of great examples, and I learned a lot on this commission the last time. So with that, I appreciate your consideration. Field any questions that anyone may have.
Questions for Mr. McQueen? Seeing none, thank you, Cody.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Jeff Gwynn is present. Mr. Gwynn? Anyone see Mr. Gwynn or know Mr. Gwynn?
He left.
He left? Oh, did he? Okay, well, maybe give him, we'll let try to run around and take a look. Maybe is Mr. Graham present?
Mr. Graham called me, Chairman, just prior to the meeting, due to his employment 911, he was called in unexpectedly and will not be here to address it.
Okay, understandable. And the applications for both of these gentlemen have been submitted. His current occupation is 911 dispatcher, and job duties must have called, so we thank them for their consideration in this. No more discussion on that. We'll once again have a voice call for the vote on this, if you will. When your name is called, state your candidate.
Mark Evans,
David Miller.
Willie Campbell,
David Miller.
Robert A. Cook,
Miller.
Nancy Brown, Miller, Mike Hill,
Miller.
Patty Whitby, Quinn, Brad Johnson,
Miller.
Ronnie Crivitt,
McQueen.
Charles Von Cannon,
McQueen.
Austin James,
Quinn.
Wynn, Zach Grindstaff,
Gwynn.
Jerry Clark,
Gwynn.
I'm sorry,
Gwynn.
Ross Garland,
McQueen.
Ginger Hogan,
Wayne,
I'm sorry,
McQueen.
Layla Ward, Quinn, Randall Jenkins,
McQueen.
Travis Hill,
Gwynn.
Gary Davis,
Quinn.
Ray Lyons, Sandra Southern,
Quinn,
Aaron Frazier,
McQueen.
Robin McCain,
Miller, is it Miller? Is that right?
Ray Collins, Miller,
All right, I got 8 votes for Mr. David Miller, 6 votes for Cody McQueen, and 8 votes for Mr. Gwynn. So I guess we'll not be in the majority, we'll have to take the top 2, is that right on that?
Well, Mr. Graham would fall off any vote.
Graham, okay.
And then Mr. McQueen would fall off with the lowest low total. So the two candidates.
We thank you, Mr. McQueen, for your consideration, Mr. Graham as well. So we'll have to move on and take the top 2 candidates, Mr. Miller and Mr. Gwynn. And just take a couple seconds for Patsy to get ready and just, your name's called will be Mr. Miller or Mr. Gwynn.
Mark Evans,
Miller.
Willie Campbell,
Miller.
Robert A. Cook,
Miller.
Nancy Brown,
Miller,
Mike Hill,
Miller.
Patty Whitby,
Quinn,
Brad Johnson,
Miller.
Ronnie Crivitt,
Miller.
Charles Von Cannon,
Miller.
Austin James,
Quinn.
Isaiah Grindstaff,
Gwynn.
Jerry Prophet,
Gwynn.
Ross Garland,
Miller.
Ginger Hogan,
Miller,
Taylor Ward. Gwen. Randall Jenkins.
Miller.
Travis Hill.
Gwen.
Gary Bailey.
Gwen.
Ray Lyons. Sandra Keller. Gwen. Aaron Frazier.
Miller.
Robin McCain. Kelly Collins. Miller.
All right, we got 14 votes for Mr. David Miller and 8 votes for Mr. Nguyen. So seeing that, Mr. Miller will join this commission as effective immediately. We thank these gentlemen for their consideration in this and want to help out the county. What we will do now is take a short break and let them
Needs to be sworn in first.
sworn in. Okay. All right, we'll let Mrs. Clerk, Ms. Hooch, swear in Mr. Miller. We'll take a short break after that to get our tallies computer. Yeah, if you're ready. If you'll come up, sir, Mr. Miller.
It's better to be sworn in than sworn out.
Okay, would raise your right hand. David, do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the state of Tennessee? You will faithfully and honestly discharge the duties of the office of county commissioner to the best of your skills and ability. That you will faithfully demean yourself as such in the performance of the duties of this office, which you do hereby assume, so help you God.
I do. Thank you.
All right, yeah, let's take about 10 minutes on that and get everything ready on our computer and just got to catch up. That'll adjust, that go up there until we get in. All right. All right, let's get back to business, and we do want to welcome Mr. Miller. Thank you for your interest, and of course, welcome, congratulations to this. We will have to take another roll call vote to appease the clerk here, the roll call system, so we'll let them get that straightened out. Yeah, just aye.
Those 2 days. You wouldn't have to work gas.
Yeah, it should. We got batteries that
It looks like it's still blocked out.
Blocked out, Abby.
it looks, it doesn't say.
I'm getting so good.
on. Okay, next item, number 14, consideration of planning department budget proposal. See, I guess that information was submitted this afternoon. What services you're going to get that? And as you know, this is actually, I guess, our third consideration of this budget. We had the original was brought forth when every other county fund was submitted. It was turned down by budget. The second one was brought back a revised budget. Of course, turned down again by the budget committee. And that brings us to this point, to the full commission consideration. I'm going to just let Attorney Harden speak on this real quick. This is a yes or no vote on yes, we will approve or disapprove. We can't change any numbers like that. And I'll turn it over to him to clarify the next steps if there's nothing to be done tonight.
Okay, basically, as I've explained to individuals who have asked, the county can adopt a budget calendar, which we do, but it's not very detailed as far as the process of projections and resubmittals. So, in the absence of that, I believe that TCA 521.110 controls, and in this instance, any office, in this case, the planning department, planning office, comes before budget committee. If it's rejected, they come back to budget committee. If it's rejected, they come back to full commission, which is where we are tonight. It's a yes or no vote to approve or disapprove their budget as presented tonight, whatever is amended to from the original proposal. If it is disapproved tonight, planning office has 10 business days to submit another amended proposal, which this body would consider in special call meeting within 10 business days of receiving that amended proposal. And in my opinion, at that meeting, the budget can be set. Obviously, the full commission doesn't have the power to amend individual line items in a departmental budget, but the bottom line number can be set by this commission at the next meeting after today. So that's where we're at. If anybody has a question, I'll be happy to answer.
Any questions? And if you will, the sheet was passed out. It's got A, B, C, and A through C on there. So that's kind of what you would be considering the revised request 6/17/2019, which the Planning Commission met today about 3 o'clock, which I did attend, and several other commissioners. And you see the original revised request B, and the initial one that was proposed is C. So you can see those changes in there, and we'll certainly open the floor for
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Got a motion to approve the revised, most recent revised request.
Column A.
Column A. Got a motion by Mr. Hill, second by Ms. Cullen. We'll hear discussion, if we'd like. Mr. Grindstaff.
State attorney is showing on today's budget request is $31,714. The previous request was $28,356. And then life insurance has changed. It's went down from the previous request, yet the number is kind of still in the air, still kind of the same. What are some of the reasons?
Okay, as far as the retirement goes, the calculations in the second column B, were miscalculated on that version. They are correct in column A. Same thing with the life insurance and those other.
Should accurate numbers, and they should be up to date and accurate. And my understanding, this was to basically just include the increase for the supervisor, Mr. Schuler, just as the project manager capacity, basically, was for the increase on this. So that's something to consider. I know we had our workshop the other night, and kind of talked around and had some ideas, but really nothing directive for too influential on anything, but numbers have been brought back. Any other discussion, Mr. Boscan?
The director's salary. We voted at one time roughly at 8,000. We turned down the 17,000 and most of us voted for the 8,000. Is that the figure including the 8,000 with the 56,000 that you're currently requesting?
I think that's a little bit more, it's closer to 9 is the total that they're requesting.
Well, then I think this is a play on words, smoke and mirrors. We're talking about a decrease of $8,300. That's based on revisions that were shut down or voted down. I think the 8,000 was a reasonable number. So if 56,000 is what we're talking about, because being in that situation, 8,000 is not, but I disagree with the whole thing. You get paid if you create jobs, person by person. That's how I've done it all my life. If I create a job, I got so much money. If I didn't create a job, I got zero.
Mr. Chairman, question on the motion.
Actually, if I could.
Let Mr. Hill speak real quick on this.
I don't think anyone's mentioned the economic development portion of the role has been taken off the table of this. This is project management for building projects, oversight of building projects, along with the regular duties of this office only.
Okay, I'll entertain that. Is there a second to the question? Is that required, Josh, or something on that? Yeah. Okay, do I hear a second on the question, on the motion for Ronnie's question to close discussion? Let's get this off the floor first. You'll hear a second to the motion. Okay, with no second, we'll keep the floor open for discussion, debate. I saw Patty's first.
I just have a question. I know we asking the decrease in the director's pay, but the foreman pay has went up significantly from 32,000 to the 47,640. Is that going to the director pay?
I think that, to my knowledge, that it would be Mr. McKamey to basically move him up to assistant director, associate director. Is that right, Mr. Schuler? So that would be for Mr. McKamey, basically a deputy's position on that. Mr. Blevins.
We've only done this $8,000 before. I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, the economic development, it was on that, but we don't $8,000.
Yeah, I think it was kind of put in there. I think the original motion was really from the project management, but it was kind of, swept in there at the last second.
Give him that. Right? You ought to take that to me. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, well, I respect that. Any other discussion, or Mr. Dr. Acuff?
For those of you that didn't attend the special call meeting for the planning commission, this was a compromise. As Chairman Darling pointed out, no longer, and Commissioner Mike Hill, no longer is economic development part of the planning department. So at some point in time, either, I would imagine, I guess behind the budget, we're going to have to get funds to attract an economic development person. This is just to support the efforts of the planning department. As for those of you, I will remind you again, you can go back and look at the building grounds minutes. You will see that there is a list of projects that have been included. Probably 12, 13, or 14 of those projects. I can list them if you want. There are also projects that Parks and Rec had on the table as well that the planning department had been involved in. The new park that we've talked about, and we've given the Parks and Rec folks dollars to push that forward, but the other projects, extending the Tweetsley Trail, new bridge landing, so on and so forth, all fall under that edict as well. So we think this is very reasonable. Come back and reduce the amount, remove economic development, because there's a lot of activity. I think you heard from two folks tonight, Mr. Frazier, Councilman Frazier, John Bland, about how effective Chris has been in getting us out of a real mess down there. I think if we're going to go forward, and we're going to do buildings in this county, or renovations, or I'll use the term I used today in the commission meeting, put up sneeze guards in several offices, those have got to receive appropriate oversight. We haven't even started on the EMA 911 refit. And unless we want to end up with the same sort of mess that we ended up with our jail and what has come from the animal shelter, I think this is quite acceptable, and I think it's fair, and it was offered up as a compromise.
Thank you, Dr. Ray. If I saw Ms. Keller back there, she's still.
I think Aaron had his hand up first.
Okay, Mr. Frazier.
Mr. Burke, what was the original 18-19 budget for the planning office? After amendments?
It'd be 397,602.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Trigg.
I'd like to ask the county attorney a question.
Mr. Trigg.
We're in the process of taking over the Great Lakes property, am I correct?
Yes, potentially if they dissolve
Now,
Carter County Farm Zone.
haven't they already, or haven't some of them already appointed a board for this economic development? About two from the city, two from the county, and so on and so forth, am I correct?
We do have a joint economic community development.
Joint economic already in place, okay?
Well, it's in the process of expanding. It's in place, but they're going to be adding two from this body, two from the city. Yes.
Right. So that'll take care of the economic development.
Well, I mean, it'd be certainly a position if we're looking to do that, or we have to fund that, right? You know, have to find some money somewhere, but let's go.
The joint economic board won't be out doing the economic development, Mr. Tribbitt, but that wasn't what I was going to originally talk about. On Friday, the courthouse was closed and all the offices were shut down. Everybody had the day off because of the covered bridge day, which is not a great idea. Animal shelter people had to work. They worked 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And also on Friday, Mr. Schuler spent the day there trying to get the commercial washer and dryer hooked up, the new hot water heater, and I don't know what we do with that over there. I think we kept it from burning down. And I think we need a project manager on everything we're doing, because like Dr. Ray has said, we had a mess over at the jail, we still have some problems over there. If we had a project manager, we might not be in the situation we're in.
Mr. Neal.
Two questions. First one being is, what part of installing a washer and dryer and a water heater is part of his job? I mean, that seems like something he should be contracted out for somebody else to do. And two, for my clarification, what's the difference between a project manager and what exactly they do? Does the building inspector not have to sign off that these stuff meet certain requirements before they pass an inspection?
I'm sure in some instances, yes. I think to speak on the washer and dryer issue, that's probably Chris just out of the goodness of his heart going down there to try to help.
Well, the problem was, the old one didn't work, it was hooked up wrong, and all the electrical work was messed up, and that's probably what the problem is, because nobody was over watching it. Our project manager was a former mayor, and it is a mess.
And as I told the commission many times, it's
really, really sad situation down there. But do know that we do have fire alarms there, so when the public comes in to view animals or something was to happen, God forbid, we at least have a fire alarm that will go along with the
So the original plan, no.
By the density of codes we require an ICC code in the city of Elizabeth, it didn't meet the threshold due to the fact that it is an open air / non-public building. Even though it is an animal shelter, you have the public coming down out there 4.5 to 5 hours a day, plus inmates that work for the sheriff's table given to us. You have those in there, and you have other volunteers that are doing community service and things of that nature. So it met the minimum threshold by code, but by actual usage, it did not.
Thank you, Mr. Frazier.
So Brad, make sure that I'm correct here. The difference between the 18-19 budget and the amended budget was $57,000 basically from what they added on at the end of last year to purchase motor vehicles. So the actual change in their budget request for this year is $59,000 and change. So they're asking for an increase of $59,000 and change over the 18-19 budget.
Reasonable budget.
Thank you, sir.
I haven't spoken to this topic yet. I think that this department has been passed over for funding increases for a very long time now. We've heard this repeatedly here. There's some interesting parallels that I find over here. Mr. McKay, when he came to work for us, started out as a part-time employee. During his course of employment with us, he has bettered himself. He has gone and studied for and successfully achieved certifications that make him now our building inspector. Now, while he started at a particularly low salary at a part-time position, he's worked himself up and made himself more valuable to this county during his tenure with us. And you can't really look at, although he is a known quantity, and we all like Mel, and some more than others possibly, but we all like Mel. He's become more valuable to us. He needs a pay scale that's commensurate with what services he's able to provide and the value he brings now. So the question is, and I don't want anyone to think that anyone's holding anyone for hostage, but you've got to look at replacement cost. Just like a vehicle, you got to look at the replacement cost. What is it going to cost to put somebody in that role if we lose him? And interestingly enough, Mr. Schubler, when he came to work for the county many years before I certainly moved here, he was hired on by Mr. Johnson here as a part-time person. Planning and zoning was a part-time position. And as the county grew and the needs grew, this position grew into a full-time position. Chris was always a known quantity to us. And he started as the part-time guy. And, you know, I would make the case that over the course of his tenure with us, he's become a terrific asset, incredibly knowledgeable, and you know, you've got to look at what it would cost to replace this individual at such time as he was no longer with us. And then compared to these budget numbers that are still probably below fair market value, I believe this is a very good compromise.
Thank you, Mr. Weber, I think you mentioned that deceased, or question for the motion. There is a motion on the floor currently right now, so we can't entertain that. Any other discussion? Ms. Woodley.
I would just like to say that we just honored a man here tonight that gave 30 years of service that makes $38,000 a year. He is certified in more departments and more areas than I believe that any of us could ever be certified in. He has taught and done more for that sheriff's department than anybody that's over there, not including our sheriff. And so we can't demean certain aspects of each employee. This is once again an issue here. It's not what the job duties are, but forgetting about the rest of the county and what they do for our county. We literally just honored a man here tonight, $38,000 a year. He's been with the county 30 years, and we heard all his qualifications, all his certifications, all the positions that he's held since he's been here. I just want to let everybody remember what we just did here tonight.
And that is, you know, a big issue with discrepancies in salaries and, you know, job titles. I think that is something that financial management at some point does wish to address and would be brought to the full commission. I think that's something that is plan to work on. That's what makes this tough. I mean, this budget's not going to be fair for everybody, and that's what's so hard to, really make a decision on. And that's, at this point, we're kind of, it's up in the air, but, we got a motion on the floor to approve the budget as presented. I think enough has really been said on, discussion about it. We've said the same thing basically over and over for a month now. So, if any other, one good question, and I'll move on.
Process. The new board will have to hire an economic director. Is that, out of that board, who's going to take on the position of being the?
That is just a board that meets, mandatorily meets quarterly. You're not going to have a day-to-day economic development person from that board. It's a board just like this one. You've got mayors, the cities and the county, and interested individuals from different sectors. But you're not going to have a full-time economic development person unless you hire one and pay one.
That's what
Just not going to have it. Yeah, that board doesn't do it. That's a required board for grants.
Someone will have to go and address that board then.
You can fund that board, but yeah, they're not really going to have the authority to hire an economic development person. That would be something that you all would have to do.
But would they have the authority to go out and get business or whatever? Is that going to be their?
Sure, I mean, that kind of business would come before that board. You're just not going to have somebody that comes in every day and hangs their hat on the rack and starts working to develop. It's just not going to happen with that board.
So we'll be depending on the board, otherwise, unless we hire somebody. We'll be depending on this board to go out and take care of the new resort or take care of whatever else is coming in.
I would imagine most of those requests are going to come into the mayor's office, and as it stands, we just don't have an economic development person per se, other than the roles that he would fill through his office.
And I think currently, if those questions are brought up to the mayor's office, they seemingly are directed to the planning department, I think, in that case. I think that just means basically interlocal agreement that we have to have that board set up, really.
Correct. It's just a board we have to have to remain compliant with state law to get grants. It's never been funded, but if it was, they have other jobs. They're not economic development people.
So they'll be writing the grants? That board?
No, that just makes this county eligible for grants. No, they're not.
Who will be writing those grants?
It's a good question. You're talking about mayors of the other cities in the county and people who have jobs in the financial sector and industrial sector. That's their job. Nobody on that board, it's unlikely, in my opinion, that they would be writing.
Mr. Hill, real quick.
I'll just make a quick statement. I've heard the name John Hartman thrown around a lot here, so I just went to the source today and I talked to him. He spoke with Mayor Barnett, Chairman Acuff, or Commissioner Acuff, Commissioner Hill, and myself, at different times, not together. But he has offered his services to the county free of charge. Because he said it benefits the city. I mean, eventually it will benefit the city if he helps in the county.
Right.
Till we find somebody, so there's no need to rush.
Yeah, and I certainly agree with that, as far as placing him there, I think certainly it's a decision, but that, as far as the economic development standpoint, I think, we can, if we need to, appropriate money in, the upcoming budget, but nothing has to be said, we need to put somebody in place right this minute, or certainly tonight. The question on the floor is this budget and how it's been revised, and really to have Chris serve as a project manager, basically not as an economic development director on that. So I'll answer one more really right here. If you want to hear it,
Sort of mayor, I guess. This money, is it already in your office? Was that part of your job?
Not developed. Not yet. Unless you got to put it in office.
That's what I'm saying.
If you got to put it in office, it will be in office, but at this time it's not in office. Like Mr. Hill said, we got John Hartman, we got
the net tracks are trying to step up a little bit now, and if they step up, help some, but, you know, we've got departments that said he was willing to help. And I feel like they'll come to my office. I mean, you might not like what I'm doing, I'm gonna go to Chris Schuler, his office. We've been helping him since September 1. Doing a great job. I was here to ask him to help me till we get, you know.
I believe it's the last 3 mayors. It came from the mayor's office.
No, it did not.
I did think, that's the yeah.
Last 3? I don't know about the last 3, just the last one.
We had Carter County tomorrow, we had economic developer, Mr. Tom Anderson, until 2 years ago.
I think it was around 80,000 or something like that.
82,000.
82,000. So, you know, and that's something we'd have to consider, you know, if we opened up from that, the joint board, whatever, once it's in place, you're looking to get somebody experienced to come in and serve in that as an economic developer or director, you're talking 70,000 plus salary, I mean, minimum for anybody with any kind of experience. So that's what we're trying to consider, but in the future, right now, we're going to consider this budget, and I'll answer the last one, Ms. Cullen.
I just want to point out, we're discussing economic development, but I believe this budget is, we're planning to only have project management attached.
Yes. All right, with that, and no more discussion on that, the motion is to approve, it would be column A on the revised budget, 6/17/2019. You can see the director's salary, the data processing, and the foreman right there. Those have changed a little bit from the last budget, from the last revision. So if you'll call a roll, Ms. Stevens, please. Abstaining here, so the motion will fail on that.
What were the abstentions for?
I think, well, Mr. Miller, I can't speak on that, maybe for his absence, but we need to ask them and see.
Well, I assume Mr. Jenkins, you're on the planning commission, right? Or you're on you're the liaison over there, is that why you're abstaining?
Planning? I don't know. We're on planning.
Should I also abstain?
I think they voted him out.
I'm sorry, I thought you were still. If there's abstentions for cause based on a conflict, then that would reduce the number that needs to pass. I'm just asking why the abstention votes were made. If it's not a conflict of interest, it's irrelevant.
Mr. Jenkins is still on the plan.
So we still require a majority on that, I guess.
So it would still take 12 with him abstaining, coming back to 24, but if the other two were abstaining for some conflict reason,
Mr. Chairman, can I change my vote? Change it to no. At this stage of the game?
I think they will do that.
I think after the vote's revealed,
By the rule, you can. County commission rule, you can change.
What's that, Mr. Johnson?
He asked if he could change his vote.
Yeah.
By our rules and regulations, he should be allowed still to topic. It's time that the chair has recognized and asked the question. If there's any-
I think as the attorney said, if the vote is revealed right there, that's, I guess.
it used to be that when we went through and called it by voice vote, and after you got done, you would say, does anybody like to change their vote? Generally, once the vote's revealed and everybody can see the vote, then you don't change the vote. But if there's, a motion to reconsider, certainly you can vote again if someone on the prevailing side votes to reconsider.
So we meet back in 10 days, call a meeting and pay this committee.
They would have 10 days, 10 business days to resubmit an amended proposal, and then within 10 days from that, a full commission or special call.
Or less, and we wouldn't have to wait.
Yeah, that's just within. as long as you give notice, adequate public notice to have the meeting.
Well, and that's a necessity, I mean, getting everything published and sent out there, and, advertised, and of course, passing, we've got our schedule to pass the full budget at our next commission meeting, July 17th, so the longer we prolong this and we can't come to terms, that's going to kind of put us behind as far as submitting something to the state of Tennessee, and we don't want to really deal with that, any repercussions from them on this. So, I mean, there is some time left, but once again, I mean, negotiations, there's some in there, but there's really not trying to meet eye to eye. That's what I see myself, but it's not completely up to me, so.
Mr. Chairman, can I get an answer on my question? Can I change my vote?
What? I don't think so. I thought he answered that just then, unless someone, as far as.
I just want a yes or no.
Can you give him an answer, no, Josh?
I believe the answer is no at this point, unless there's a motion to reconsider, where you revote.
Thank you.
And who's responsible for that motion as far as?
Someone on the prevailing side in the votes can make a motion to reconsider the vote.
Well, I don't know, is that prevailing with 10 to 10 tie, or I don't?
Well, the motion didn't carry,
Yeah.
so it'd be someone who voted against it. Or an abstention. So. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's saying that anyone that abstained on the vote has the potential to make a motion to reconsider the vote. I think is that pretty accurate?
That's a new situation, but I think that's accurate. I'm trying to.
Well, here, let me ask you this. What's it going to take? 12 to actually, I mean, for anything to pass?
No, it's 13 now, because we're back to full membership. So, I mean, the one vote change, that's all it's going to be, it's not going to do.
Yeah, so I don't know. Considering that's really going to get us anywhere. So.
If I change my vote, one or two others may change theirs.
Well, hopefully you heard what he said. I don't know if you completely, if anyone that chose to abstain can bring up the motion to reconsider the vote again.
Well, that would do it.
I'll second his motion.
I mean,
May I second his motion?
I don't know. I mean, is that the motion? Is that even a motion?
I think anybody can second it.
Okay. So, I mean, is that's your wish to put that in a motion?
Are we gonna vote again? That's what we should do.
Well,
If you make a motion, you make the motion.
yeah,
We should do vote again.
well, I think you have the authority to make that motion, and I think there will be a second if you decide to do that. No, you can't second it. You
But to
can
make the motion.
put it in the first.
I make a motion, we vote again.
All right, I got a motion by Mr. Von Cannon, and a second by Mr. Hill to reconsider this vote. We'll wait for, I don't want no discussion. We'll wait for Mr. James to come back in.
The discussion picks back up where it was, so don't start over again. You can have additional discussion.
All right, Mr. James, there is a motion on the floor to reconsider the vote. And I think we're ready, you'll clear the roll and.
So is this yes or no to reconsider vote?
To reconsider this vote, yes. All right, that did pass, so we can resume discussion basically and open the floor again. Well, we won't open the floor, we can vote again. Do you want to have any more discussion on the matter? Ms. Collins?
This was just to vote again.
Yes.
That
Now
was
we're
just to
going,
reconsider.
we're going to vote now.
Vote?
Just voted for.
Yes, to
5.
column A right here, the new proposed budget, column A.
So just to clarify, as long as you did not vote with the losing side, so an abstention can make a motion to reconsider.
Voting yes or no for column A, 6/17/2019 revised request. Mr. Johnson? All right. So, moving on, Mr. Schuler, you understand what's happened again, sir, so you will take it back to your planning commission, have something things in next, please. Thank you. With that, we'll move on to the normal report, Mr. Barnett.
He has 10 days, 10 business days to bring back an amended proposal. It may be beyond, you could go ahead and pick out a date further out than that.
We've got some dates to consider on our commission calendar, so we'll talk about that pretty shortly. Mr. Barnett.
Okay, I'll make it brief. I usually just let the community chairs do most of the talking, but a couple of things. Talking about Snap-on earlier. Snap-on deal is pretty much complete. Mr. Frazier, he works up there. I think they're ready to start. So that's finished. This Thursday, June 20th, we meet Highway Department with FEMA. That's a FEMA recovery meeting, is what it is. And we'll be discussing money there. It's at Highway Department, 10 o'clock on Thursday. Hopefully, Ms. Color, maybe we'll be the next meeting, hopefully we'll be voting on a contract first. You'll have to go through the committee first for city trash. We're not dealing with them. We've got a contract. So we're going to contract with them. And they asked for extension for July so we can get it worked out. And then the July meeting, start August 1st, hopefully we'll start picking up city trash. That's a big plus. These off. I have an appointment here for the Round Mountain Utility District. Phone Certification Board of Commissioners, Round Mountain Utility District, Carter County, certifying an upcoming vacancy of said board of commissioners by the expiration of the term of Commissioner Donnie Sparks on June 30th, 2019, and certifying a list of 3 names nominated to appointment to fill such vacancy in accordance with TCA 7-82-307A. It is therefore ordered and judged and decreed that the nominee Donnie Sparks is hereby appointed by the Board of Commissioners of Round Mountain Utility District of Carter County, Tennessee, to serve from July 1, 2019 until June 30, 2023. I entered this on the 12th day of June 2019. We need to approve of that. Can you approve that?
You just appointed.
Okay. That comes from, they nominated, they had this, I just went with their recommendation, so Mr. Don Sparks will have the next 4 years. On tourism here, phone calls and Fishing League Worldwide. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it. Sure, some of you fishermen have heard it. It's the FLW, Fishing League Worldwide. They call them to do a tournament here at Watauga Lake next May. And from what I understand, that's a big time pro circuit. We're talking about a minimum of 120 boats, possibly up to 200 boats. And we're starting early to try to get things worked out and try to get to where I know Johnson City will reap most of the benefits because we don't have enough motels. So if we get out early enough, our people has cabins and rental property. If we can get it out early, we're going to start a new Carter County Joint Economic Board is going to start. We're going to start a new website. We can start getting that stuff out on the web and. Hopefully we can fill everything up here around Carter County. You can bring bring 120, 150 people close in here. They're gonna bring their families, they bring, well, I understand, I'm not a fisherman, but they bring people to fish to show them where the fish are, you know, and they bring their own practice team and stuff, so I think it's a big thing for Carter County, for next May, so, we're working on that already. We've got plenty of good start. I had an interesting tour of Doe River Gorge. Mr. Von Ken and I went up there just a few weeks back. Very interesting place, Doe River Gorge, and you don't hear much about it. We need to get that spread out a bit more. It's a wonderful place, and they're expanding. They bought all of the logs that used to be worried about floating down the river. They bought all of that. They bought the sawmill, so that kind of killed two birds with one stone. We don't have to worry about the logs floating down the river anymore. But so they're going to bring a train in and run a plumb route around toward the highway, and they've got a big project coming. So that Doe Gorge is something we'll have for tourism too. And next weekend is the Ronin Festival, right, Mr. Hill? Next weekend. So that's
The Ronin Festival.
Got the Covered Bridge this week, and next week will be Rome Mountain, be the.
It's this weekend, this coming weekend.
This coming weekend, so urge everybody to go out and support it. It's a good thing, so. Got any questions for me?
There's a survey on that.
I'm sorry.
They were surveying all that.
Good. Yeah, they said, well, I understand they're buying another train, and they're gonna have it run all the way out to the road. It's gonna be a big long train ride. They're really gonna spend some money and, so they have like free weekends, so many weekends a month. So you take the families up. I encourage you to take grandkids, kids, but it's one interesting thing, that's what
My daughter just came back from camp up there, spending there. Fantastic place. There's kids from all over the country really that come to be part of that. And they had a great time.
We rode the train back in there.
Yeah, seems they offer a lot of,
a couple miles.
But do Christian camp also, but I think we were presented at one time that some preliminary plans on the hotel for that the establishment up there, so could be in the future that'd be something that.
One other thing on the young man got the award tonight for white water. That project there in Hampton, the school board donated that piece of property. You guys, everybody, like the school board gave that land, they donated that land so they could make that Green Ridge. That Green Ridge, yes, they did. So I want to mention that. Yeah. I'll leave that in. Thank you.
You, Mayor. Next is committee reports. As last time, I want to ask Mr. Grindstaff if he'll sit in and take the chair position while I get the budget report. If that's not too much to ask. Please. I'll start with agriculture. I haven't really got much of a report from him. I haven't talked to him much. Vicky's here. You got anything to offer up? Or?
No, just want to ask everybody to pray for our 4-H agent. They're at camp this week with 42 kids in the rain.
Yeah, they took off today, didn't they? Is that right? Who ended up going? Did Billy go with them this time again? Did he? Yeah, I think he did. Mr. Smith says so. So yeah, and I think you had for Covered Bridge had some festivities for that for the kids too.
Quite a bit going on, and we've got our ag agent at Shelbyville this week with the state 4-H horse show.
Yeah, how about Lacey? How's she going?
We have a new program assistant for 10 staff with some nutrition program. And she's going through all the training to get started, and she's been here about a couple of weeks now. I think she's doing great.
She's on the job.
We're getting set up to start doing food demonstrations at the farmer's market.
All right, that opened up this week, I think, didn't it? Tuesday nights?
Tuesday nights.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Clark. We'll move on to budget. And you got some packets. There is a couple that changed just to the Head Start, basically. Just the line on the general purpose school fund should just be kind of a different number there, or different.
General purpose schools, the last amendment should not go over.
Okay.
But the Head Start amendment has actually changed. There's no transfer from general purpose school fund. It's all revenue into Head Start.
Yeah, I think contracted services or something like that. So we can address that. We'll just make sure we take that out of general purpose when we get there. I'll mention that. So if you will, follow along. Notes first won't come straight from the amendments. There are a couple things that we passed before those, but I'll start out the first item, and I'll put in the form of a motion to approve a 5-year operating lease for a postage machine used by the county, General County. Calls for 60-month payment of $192.37, total payments of $11,542.20.
All right, I've got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Hill. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
We think Michael that was going to save us some money right there, so we appreciate it.
All ayes, motion passed.
Thank you. Next item, I'll put in the form of a motion to approve the carryover of unused total appropriations of $26,866.01 in the general fund's animal shelter category to 19 and 20 budget. Balances are $13,516 in the heating and air conditioning equipment line, and $13,350.01 in other capital outlay as of June 17, 2019. These funds are going to be used for repairs to the HVA system and to the other animal shelters.
Second.
I got a motion and a second by Ms. Keller. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Samantha Randall.
21 ayes, 2 noes, motion passes.
Thank you. The next item is a similar request, but through the highway department. This, I'll put in the form of a motion to approve the carryover of unused appropriations of $23,310.50 in the Highway and Public Works Fund, 131 to 19 and 20 budget. These funds will be used to install lighting and a canopy for the fueling station located at the highway department garage.
Got a motion and a second by Ms. Brown. Any discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll. All ayes, motion passed.
The next item will be, and you can follow along in your budget, or the amendment packet right here if you like. Next item, a motion to approve General Fund 101, Amendment Number 12, 32 items, total of $683,098.55. 6 of those items, $59,815 and 86 coming from unassigned fund balance. And those funds will be used to provide additional funding in the following categories: County Commission at $45.25.91, Attorney $2,100, County Buildings $20,680.56, Sheriff's Department $500, Juvenile Services $30,769.39, and other local welfare services $1,240.
Got a motion, do I hear a second?
Second.
second by Mr. Blevins. Any discussion? Mr. Hill?
I gotta say, item number 7, I find it really funny. I was sitting in for then Commissioner Meehan at the meeting when y'all on the budget committee at the time were browbeaten by a guy who was bragging on how much he had cut his buildings and grounds budget. And here it's coming up $20,680.56 short this year. So it's just, it didn't escape my notice, that's all.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, call roll. All ayes, motion passes.
The next item I put in form of a motion to approve solid waste and sanitation fund 116, amendment number 7. 3 items, a total of $58,885.97, and nothing from fund balance.
Second.
Motion and a second by Mr. Fraser, sorry. Any discussion? Seeing none, call the roll. Two ayes, 1 nay.
All right, next item, I'll put in the form of a motion to approve Drug Control Fund 122, amendment number 8, 1 item, a total of $393.54, 0 from unassigned fund balance.
Got a motion, with your second? Second by Mr. Bailey. Any discussion?
I have a question for the attorney. Can he make a motion from the pulpit up there?
As... Yes.
He can make the motion from up there.
Yes.
Okay.
He's the commissioner, this isn't the committee, so he's making a motion, yes.
Okay.
So I've got a motion and a second, no further discussion? Call the roll.
I think we're all just trying to give you a hard time there, really.
All motion passes.
Thank you. Next item, and I'll put in the form of a motion to approve Sports and Recreation Fund 123, amendment number 2. 1 item, a total of $14,357.81, nothing from fund balance.
Second. Motion and a second by Mr. Fraser. Any discussion? Seeing none, call the roll, please. All ayes, motion passes.
Thank you. The next item, I'll put in the form of a motion to approve Highway and Public Works Fund 131, amendment 7. 4 items, total of $37,440.23, nothing from fund balance.
Got a motion and a second by Mr. Hoover. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll roll next Travis. All ayes, motion passes.
Thank you. And next item will be the general purpose school fund, and I think we need to omit the last item on that one. Is that correct, Brad?
Item number 27 is.
So it should be, okay, so we need to correct total on that, I guess. So you got that on there for me? Yes, sure do. Okay, so yeah, item 27, if you'll omit that from this amendment packet, and I should have an accurate total for that. So I'll put that in form of a motion to approve general purpose school fund 141, amendment 10, 26 items for a total of $1,581,497.66.
There's a motion.
Got a motion and a second by Mr. Blevins. Any discussion?
Question,
How much is coming from the unassigned fund balance?
Yeah, I wasn't quite there yet, but 10 items and $244,555.42 coming from unassigned fund balance.
Thank you.
Is that 244, 555, 42?
244, 555, 42. Tough job.
Any other discussion?
Unassigned school fund balance.
Yes, that's school fund balance, and those are primarily covered underestimated expenditures for medical insurance and pension expense.
Coach Elias, one name. Motion carried.
The next item, put in the form of a motion to approve School Federal Projects Fund 142, Amendment 6, 5 items, total of $101,000, 250 cents, nothing from fund balance.
Got a motion, do I have a second?
Oh,
Second by Mr. Blevins, any discussion?
Isn't the 79,540 that we didn't put in the last one on here, or?
It goes with Head Start, that is a separate, that's 143, I think. 145.
Anything else? Seeing none, call the roll. All ayes, motion passes.
Thank you. Next is make a motion to approve Central Cafeteria Fund 143, Amendment 4, one item, total of $24,150. All funds coming from the their unassigned fund balance. This will be used for the purchase of the food service van.
Got a motion, do I have a second? Mr. Frazier with the second, any questions? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll. All ayes, motion passes.
All right. And the next item, this one does have, I think should have an amended sheet on this. Yeah, should be an updated sheet on this. Your last line right there on 48,140 should read 103,799.35. All right, and that was the money coming from the General Purpose School Fund, the one we omitted. I'll put this in the form of a motion to approve Head Start Fund 145, Amendment 2, one item, total of $115,450.71, zero from fund balance.
Got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Gill with the second, Travis. Any discussion? Seeing none, call the roll. All ayes, motion passes.
Next item, I'll put the form of a motion to approve General Debt Service Fund 151, Amendment Number 1, total of $128,853.72, nothing from fund balance.
Do I have a second? Ms. Collins with the second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
128,803.
128,053.
Zero.
128,000.
Okay, I have 8. All right, we good on that one? Thank you. Okay.
All ayes, motion passes.
Gotta get a few dollars difference right there. Next item, put in the form of a motion to approve the monetary donations made to the animal shelter, $4,649. The drug control fund, $393.53, and Carter County Schools for $1,270.
Second. Got a motion and a second by Mike Hill. Any discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll. All ayes, motion passes.
Thank you. Next, up in the form of a motion is to approve the non-monetary donations made to the shelter, value of $1,150.
Second. There's a motion and a second by Tom Keller. Any questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll. All ayes, motion passes.
Last but not least, and this was provided the health services agreement, if you want to take a look at that. Captain Smith did bring us this, well, we talked about it at Thursday night's the workshop, budget workshop. No hard figures at that point. I think the numbers have been determined by Captain Smith as far as still some finalization on the wording in the contract. I think that will be approved by, of course, approved by us, but sent on to Attorney Harder's approval for the final contract that is presented. What are those numbers, Captain Smith? I don't know if I have those in mind. You got those, Brad?
I think what was actually the budget for 1920 was 473,226. And the estimated amount, new contract.
The actual number is $554,435. That's for a 4-year contract. Guaranteed 4 years. And then we negotiate after the 4th year. What we're needing tonight is basically giving either the chairman of this body or the mayor the authority to sign the contract, because I'm still going over doing my nitpicking on the contract, and there's some things that need to be changed in it. I think you all have a copy of it, but I found some things that need to be changed, and I'm working with Southern Health Partners. Matter of fact, I've got two of them here with us tonight. I've got Taylor Ralston, who is basically our rep for up here, and Lacey LaFleur, who's stationed down in Chattanooga as the CEO and CFO.
A lot of things we're going to be changing is working schedule. Maybe that's what I think. What we want to start with, more effective time.
No, it won't affect the number that you get tonight is final. What I'm working on is things that I've done an extremely detailed RFP on this, and I actually started writing it last year. And as things would come up through the year that the jail would let me know was an issue, then I would address that through the RFP. And those are some of the things that we're working on right now. One being an EKG machine. You know, we have inmates all the time that lie to us. I know it's hard to believe. You know, every once in a while we get one that will. You know, I'd asked for an EKG machine to be part of that RFP, and it got overlooked. Trying to get a DEA number for our facility so we can maintain certain medications there, mostly for seizures. We're working on that, but that's just some of the things that we're going to finalize in the contract. And we should hopefully have that within, I would say within the next 3, 4, 5 days.
The increase between, that's one of the others.
And I can tell you, we started in 2011 with Southern Health Partners. I done a very detailed RFP. We had 2 people, two companies that put in for it. And that was Southern Health Partners and
Quality, I call them quality, QHC, something like that.
QHCV or something.
QHCC, it was.
I don't want to hurt your feelings with that, what their proposal was.
Ms. Cole.
I was just gonna ask a question, you just need a motion to have the mayor or somebody sign off on it?
To sign the contract. You got to do it time signature. I can't sign it.
I make that motion that we have, the mayor work with the sheriff's department to sign on the contract.
I've got a motion by Ms. Coker.
Second.
And a second by Mr. Ray. Any other discussions? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Thank you.
All ayes. Motion passes.
I think there is a difference. I know Brad said he budgeted 473, 226, I think was the number. This number's 554, you know, you're looking at $70,000, $80,000 difference. 81,209, so that will be reflected on the 1920 budget. All right. That's all I have for any amendments or any approval there. I will mention, of course, we're still slated for public hearing for the 1920 budget. Is it on schedule for July 15th? Is that not 15th? 15th, that's right, that's the county commission meeting. That will be at 5 o'clock before the meeting. Normally that's not, you know, too debated with certainly with the county increase tax rate, so it should go pretty quick on that. I do want to clarify that. What we do need to also bring up is, I guess, kind of determine the date for the budget committee. Well, actually, it would be a full body meeting for that, for the approval of the planning department's budget. So we need to, I guess, take a look at your calendars, or, so that would be, I guess, 10 days from tomorrow that they decide to submit us something. 10 working days. I don't know if that's something you guys can expedite. I'm sure you're tired of dealing with this, and I think we all are. Yeah, I don't know if the planning commission, you guys can get together, we can work as quick as possible to come to some terms on this. You guys have your meeting, and we'll probably, you know, schedule that up as quick as we can for you guys. So, any, everybody.
15 days,
But, I mean, does it have to be 10 days before that?
well, I mean, because they have to give public notice before you have another plan.
Is that 5 days public notice? or 5 days?
Generally, 5 days
Whatever.
publication in the paper is what we, the general rule.
Well, yeah, that's mainly planning commission, as long as they give adequate notice to have their meeting, and they can wait 10 business days, that's up to them. And there's no way to guarantee that, if you schedule it, I guess, quickly, if they don't have it continue, you might jump the gun a little bit. You have to keep the publication 10 days ahead of time, whatever, before the public hearing. So, they've already got that scheduled. So you're running on a
Tight schedule, I mean, I'm not looking at the calendar, I don't have one, but I don't know exact window they got on that.
July 1st is the 10th day.
10th day for them to submit that one.
July 1st was the 10th.
July 1st, we meet the 15th, so we'd have to have, you know, some approval at least 10 days before then. July 4th holiday, that's, what's that, Thursday or something like that?
Yeah.
Is that early on?
Thursday's the 4th.
Yeah. Any good dates we see here?
Ross.
Request if the planning commission could meet as soon as possible, so we can get this budget moving along.
But they have to file
They
this
should
year.
already have a planning commission meeting set for not tomorrow, but the next Tuesday.
The 25th.
Asking if that's still.
Okay.
Abby, thank you, Abby, for mentioning that. They do, I think you guys have a regular scheduled meeting for the 25th of this month. Is that correct, Mr. Schuler?
As far as I know, they were canceling today, you don't have anything for the agenda other than this time.
Well, I don't think it'd be too much to ask to go ahead and reschedule that since it is been,
That was one thing.
I don't know
Was
if
that-
you can speak to that.
Was the planning commission meeting on the monthly meeting that you guys advertised? So it's been advertised for the month?
It got canceled when everyone had this town meeting. Oh, that's a check, Ross.
Yeah, let's see, she gave me a calendar, was that pretty? Oh, was that? Okay. Yeah, if you can, Chris, check on that, but I guess if that hasn't been, just submit that to the clerk's office as quick as possible. See if we can get rolling on this before we get behind the 8:01 we are. So,
As of right now, we're unsure on the 25th meeting date. Depends on whether or not it was actually, that it was advertised. If it was advertised, then that's a possibility. If not, then they'll have to re-advertise for a special call meeting. And then it would be, within that 10-day period, get something back to us.
that, so what's a good advertisement? I mean, about 5 days, is that really what's required? I mean, once it's-
Days is what's required for the planning commission. Well, what all we do, obviously.
How many?
10.
Okay.
The 5-day requirement is not a business notice, it's not, just 5-3.
What is it, Josh, what did you say?
Talking about advertising 5 days before a public meeting, I don't know anything about the planning. The general rules, 5 days, not business days, just 5 days.
We have, I know, a regular scheduled budget meeting July the 8th. I don't know if we can somehow incorporate full commission on that if we can get these ironed out, and that's the date that is scheduled now. I mean, I don't think anybody wants to meet around July 5th, I mean, on a Friday or something like that, I don't think.
They have to submit the revised budget within 10 business days. So whatever they can figure out with their meeting advertisements, regardless, give as much notice as you can, but it's got to be back before this body, well, not before this body, it's got to be turned in 10 business days from today.
But can it be sooner, correct?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. We're still negotiating. We're all one team here. I think we're getting, this budget's been tough on everybody. It starts, sometimes it's becoming personal and things aren't fair for everybody, and we know that's tough. But we're still all one team here and looking out for the well-being of Carter County, for their offices, for every office we have. So we do need to consider that for everyone. Any comments, questions, anything else on your mind?
What do you mean it's become worse?
Well, I mean, I think, some departments may be getting X amount of dollars, others aren't receiving those. I mean, I think it's not just a financial thing, I think there's actually, some disputes a little bit that have become personal with commissioners. I'm really not going to say any names or anything like that, but it's got to that point when we sit in the budget meeting workshop the other night and, things are directed specifically in certain directions. So I don't think we really need to do that. It's okay to disagree, certainly. I mean, that's what we're here for. That's what government's all about anyway, I think, in a democracy. So that's all right, but I don't think we need to take things personally or point fingers or anything like that. We can try our best to come to some resolve and work this thing out. If not, that's all I have. So thank you.
warm seat, thank you.
All right, next committee, I don't have a list on there. Where's we going? Building grounds?
Building grounds doesn't have anything to bring to the floor at this time.
Thank you. Education, Mr. Kane?
Our board member here tonight, Amy Wolf. Thank you for being here. If you look in the minutes, you can see that some of the exciting new things that we have going on in Carter County. The Carter County Online Academy, very exciting online program for students kindergarten through 12th grade. Cost is between $2,600 and $2,700 per student, but we actually receive $8,200 to $8,500 per student enrolled. So that's exciting. That's some money coming in. Students inside and outside the county system can be enrolled. So that was one of the questions I had asked for the city students to enroll, because I do think there's sometimes when students, I know I've seen it myself in the classroom, that they can't attend class. So this is a nice option for parents that can't make their kids go to school. There's an online option now, so that's awesome. Also, the homeschool parents are looking at this. That was some of the discussion that we had. So I would encourage you to look at this. I'm not going to read it to you. We can all read, but it is exciting. It's through Odyssey Ware Academic Services. Teachers are available. There's online videos, so students can go back and watch them. If they have questions, they can actually talk one-on-one with the teacher. So it's pretty exciting. New age stuff. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. King. Financial manager, Mr. Johnson, Ms. Holden.
We did not have a quorum this month, so we did not meet.
All right. Health and welfare, Dr. Ray Campbell.
The committee minutes are in the packet. I just referred to them. One item that we brought closure on, as many of you know, we're looking at a sick leave bank. Once we contacted several departments, they opted out, so we wrote that off our to-do list. There'll be no sick leave bank in Carter as it's coming from our department.
I wanted to know if that name's still wrong, and I am there. His songs.
Make a motion on that.
I just wanted to know that.
I would thank you for your work on the second amendment sanctuary. That's good resolution. Appreciate that. Highway Department, Mr. Charlie Von Cannon, sir.
Mr. James.
Mr. James, then our
Let them speak for themselves. I just like to let them know that the committee voted to not have a July meeting, so I'm gonna have it.
Thank you. Landfill is covered.
The minutes pretty much reflect what happened. There's a couple of things I want to mention. The mayor mentioned that we were in the process of negotiating a contract with the city. We're picking up the garbage. I think we have a contract already. I believe our attorney has turned it over to Roger Day, the city's attorney. I want to tell you that Benny has been working on this for like 3-4 years, 5?
Yes, ma'am.
It's been a process, but it's a great thing for both the city and the county. I can't help that the city went up on the rates. It didn't have anything to do with us. But anyway, I look forward to working with the city. We need to make a few changes. We may need to spend a little bit of money, but they all say it is, you gotta spend money to make money. So we're gonna get this contract, but we need to make some changes at Plainfield, and we'll be bringing those changes to you as needed. Also, if you notice in the minutes at the bottom, we're not allowed to take just a certain amount of cardboard at this time. Not only is it not bringing anything, they won't allow us to take so many pounds. So we're trying to find a place to store them. So we can keep it dry and take care of it till the price goes back up to $220 or close to that. So Mr. Von Cannon had offered to rent us a space, but unfortunately that can't happen since he's moving our commission. So if you know of anybody that's got some space that would like to give it to the county for a few months, we'd be glad to take it. But we need it to be a dry space. So other than that, I think the minutes tell you what we need to do.
Mr. Lyons.
Just one bit of clarification on picking up the trash. We're not going to pick up the city's trash. We're going to bring it to us after they pick it up and we're going to dispose of it.
Okay. So how's that been going currently? I mean, in the past?
Currently, they're taking it to Waste Management, John City, and basically with putting in a quote to them, it's going to bring in roughly $400,000 a year for our park.
For us, yeah. That's good. Hopefully we continue. I know you got some positions open at your office, don't you? That I've seen. I would like to thank you. He sent the recycling bin out here for the covered bridge. We put a few recycling receptacles out there. Benny was kind enough to call him up. He said, no problem, got a bin here within the next day. It helped us out, so he's always there for us. So thank you for that.
Chairman, I forgot to mention, you do have a report about the recycling, the pickup that we had here. You have a report in your packet also of how much was picked up. Thank you.
Thank you. Law enforcement, Mr. Prophet.
We have nothing at this time, Mr. Chairman.
You nominating Ms. Woody?
I'll let the minutes reflect that.
Rules and bylaws?
Rules and bylaws, sir.
Anything I'm looking over? Mr.
Just
Hill?
touch base on the public library. Ms. Barksdale has resigned from position to take a new position in Smithfield, North Carolina.
Okay.
So Gary Sparks is the interim until they find somebody.
All right. Is that been advertised or?
I believe it's currently being advertised.
All right. Thank you.
Chairman,
Sir?
your board will be meeting on the 16th of July at 6 p.m. There's been an application for a permit based on the change of ownership of the Elk Mills General Store.
All right. July 16th, 6 o'clock, or of course it'll be advertised. I do, yeah, let me bring that up. Anybody else have anything else?
That's a question. Everybody gets a sheet on the stats provided to them, didn't they, to pick up?
Mr. Fraser.
Just wanted to point out that myself and Mr. Travis Odell will be hosting a single-day class for TWRA on June 22nd at TCAT Center. Hold on, I'm trying to get details for you. 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. You must take the online safety course before taking this class. You can sign up online, and then we'll take your sheet afterwards. So if you need your hunting, fishing, if you need your hunter safety education course, Saturday, if you've already taken the online course, it's a great day to get it in.
What day was that again, the date?
June 22nd, this Saturday at 9 a.m. at TCAT.
I do have the public notice of regular meetings, Carter County Commission for July. This is a draft. You may want to pull your calendars back out again real quick and see if we can work these out as they're currently stated on this sheet. We got July 1st. Look at July 1. Monday, 8:30 a.m. financial management. And just, I'll tell you what we got, and if any changes or something like that, just speak up, please. July 1st, 8:30 a.m. financial management, 6 p.m. education in landfill. Yes. All right. July 2nd, 6 p.m. building grounds, rules and bylaws, health and welfare, law enforcement. All right. July 2nd, 11 a.m., court security. July 3rd.
On Wednesday, July 3rd.
July 3rd. All right. Ms. Moore. July 8th, regular scheduled budget meeting and nominating, 6 p.m.
What was that date again?
July 8th. Thank you. July 9th, Animal Shelter Board. Sound good? Check. 15th, regular, well, we got the budget meeting, or the public hearing for the proposed budget, Full County Commission, 6 p.m. On schedule for that. And then July 23rd, have a scheduled 3 p.m. Planning Commission meeting also.
Just keep in mind, the proposed budget, the entire proposed budget has to be published 10 days in advance of the public hearing on the 15th. So if you don't get it in the paper by the, I guess, if there's paper on the 5th, that really be more than too late. I mean, it has to be in the paper on July 3rd, where you're not going to have enough time to have the public hearing on the 15th. You have to wait.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I mean, you could cut off the waiting time for the notice if you pick the date tonight for the special call, full commission meeting. That may be the only possible way to still have the public hearing.
So, but I mean, basically that small window of 1st through the 3rd would probably be the most.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
best time.
it has to be approved and then published in the paper by the end. So, I mean, that doesn't happen instantly. I don't know how quick their deadline is, but I would imagine you have to get it to them by the 1st, come out on the 3rd.
Typically, if you can get it to them by, I think it's 10 a.m. Like if they got it to them on 10 a.m. on the 2nd, we could get it in the 3rd's paper.
So really, July 1st would be about your only option.
For a full body.
For a special call, full commission meeting and planning commission. I don't know if that, I guess that, but they can finish this, so if they can keep going.
How you feel about that, Chris? You think you can work that out before then? You think you can work out, I mean, working as quick as you can, I know, I mean, with your proposed budget, I mean, your special call meeting for you guys, because we're looking at July 1st to stay on schedule with the full public hearing. We once again have to pay your budget, yes or no, then.
First guy that we could be on here, the first time we did, we're parking.
Ms. Collins. First, we will be here.
I will be here first, yes.
Brandon.
Yeah, I can be here on the 1st.
And that Dr. Acuff's always here. You're not being watched. Most of these serious things.
Yeah, I'll be.
I do have the expectation, landfill that night.
Josh made a good point, and that's education landfill at 6 p.m.
That we do it earlier that day.
What was the time of the first meeting called first?
Well, I don't know. Today it was 3 o'clock for the special call meeting we had. 3 o'clock meeting. There's a 6 p.m. education landfill meeting scheduled for 6 as well.
3 o'clock, is that correct?
What, Mr. Prophet, you guys have something?
I was asking the times on the 1st.
For
Meeting times,
planning? But, I mean, if they decide at 3 p.m., I think is their regular scheduled time, so. Education and landfill, I don't know if they would want to possibly reschedule or look to move that date.
We really need to mix landfill because the contract ready, we have to vote on it to bring to commission.
Okay.
If the meeting wouldn't last long, we could have it immediately after, but we have to have a meeting that day.
It would be a special call meeting just for consideration of the planning department budget. So I would imagine.
I mean, if we met at 5 o'clock, of course, I mean, that's the custom. Of course, that meeting didn't last too long today, you know, it's 4 o'clock, of course, Brad's got to work numbers up as well. I don't mean, 5 o'clock, full commission meeting, is that, can you move educational landfill at 7, or, I don't know. Just to give a little more time, still have the meetings on schedule, but push it back an hour.
We can move it to 7 if you want to have the meeting at 6 as long as it's posted. But we have to have it.
That's, well,
Well, the landfill, we have to have our own education.
I mean, that I know of, I don't think there's any business, so we could cancel if we need to.
yeah, well, that'd be good if that would work out, 6 o'clock for special full commission meeting. And then, you know, see if that lasts an hour or whatever, and then you guys directly to follow at 7. That'd be okay. And I think, I mean, if it did run over, as long as it's, you've scheduled it by 7, you can start later than 7.
Yeah.
Just can't start before.
It's fine with me if it's all right, not for me. And Mr. Lyons.
That's fine, I mean. Clarify where we're at.
Yeah, so we're in Carter County. Now, what we want to do, have, you know, hopefully if planning agrees to that, have the 3 o'clock meeting, July 1st. Full commission special meeting just for the planning department, yes or no on it, at 6 o'clock. And then education and landfill to follow at 7.
We have to pay the full commission that salary
Yep.
at 6 o'clock.
Sorry. But I understand, I mean, I know it's, but people are going on vacation and stuff, and it's tough to, certainly with advertising and everything like that, I know it's hard. Be a busy day. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if everybody's in agreement with that, if landfill, community education, if you guys are on board, we'll put it in.
I'm fine with that. Okay, now, we are.
Does anyone object to education canceling? But I know the board has nothing for July. School's out. Mark? Are you good if we cancel for that night?
Yeah, probably.
Mr. Ward doesn't have anything. That'll make it a little bit.
And, of course, Mr. Miller, you're certainly new to this, but you will be on building and grounds, rules and bylaws, health and welfare, and law enforcement. Notified.
Are you good with canceling?
Or we have landfill.
So landfills, unless we understand,
We're gonna cancel education.
okay. So landfill committee will meet July 1 at 7 p.m. No education committee that night. Full commission to meet at 6 p.m. for the special call meeting for the planning budget. All right, we can go with that beer board, July 16th, 6 p.m. Thanks for what Mike said. Okay? How does everybody feel about that? Great? All right, county attorney report. Mr. Hart.
As usual, I'll submit a report that'll be in the minutes, things I've done throughout the month. But as far as litigation goes, just to give you an update, there's still many litter code cases that are pending. At least 8 others are in process besides the 3 that we just had hearings on this past month. I'm sure some of y'all saw the newspaper article. There was 2 different litter cases that came through and resulted in contempt findings against the property owners. One of those persons was jailed until he got his property in compliance. The chancellor basically made him spend his nights in jail and get out during the day and work on the property, and he did rectify those problems. There was another one that's found in contempt as well, but the owners reside out of state, so that one will result in, if there's going to be any action, most likely the county's going to have to clean that one up and get reimbursed for costs through taxes. There is another hearing coming up Wednesday to decide whether or not the 3rd case, property owner will be voting contempt. This Wednesday, I believe it's at 11 a.m. 11 a.m. And like I said, there's at least 8 other cases that we're still waiting on responses or giving them their allotted time to respond to those cases before we set those for hearing. Those will be set coming up either later this month or next month. So we are actively working on a lot of those cases. Kane City, Utah, the United States was a class action lawsuit we brought up back last fall regarding federal pilot claims or failure to pay those by the federal government. And there's been a judgment in that case, and we will get a few $1,000s most likely. And we're working on that today and submitting the documentation there for them to approve. It'll take time, but there will be some recovery in that case. And there was new litigation filed here just this week or late last week. Luke Steffi v. Carter County involves loose gravel on a county road that they say resulted in a motorcycle crash with injuries. But that's just now getting started, so that'll go through the process. Other than that, unless anybody has a specific question, that's mine.
Thank you, Mr. Hart. Thank you, sir. Commissioner comments? Mr. Von Camp?
I'd like to thank the mayor for taking advantage of my request to accompany me to Dover Gorge. The assets of Dover Gorge were bought out in 1987 by the after particular failures. Get your kicks and sticks. Hillbilly Heaven was the original world. Takeoff on Tweetsie, where the robbers came down, whatever. But here's some details you may not know. The gorge can house at any given night 580 to 90 people in a dormitory setting. 2 big dorms, several cabins of 20 each. Railway cars, they'll have 6 or 8. A very romantic thing, you know. Those of us that are young enough to have digital romance. But anyway, back to economic development. If the mayor wasn't willing to take the bull by the horns, he had it, and take care of economic development, which you can do with the help of some of the others, that wouldn't have been any expense. However, it was his option to farm off this to anyone he wanted to. Is that $8,000 a year, $12,000 a year, big deal? Now, for economic development, you spend, as a taxpayer, $3,000 per person at Nissan just for training. You spend $4,000 per person for the road that went into the 800 acres, which we haven't mentioned yet. The 800 acres for the factory. Therefore, $8,000 is a bargain. If you could bring in 1 job, 2 jobs, 3. But I felt that people were voting against an individual. look at the big picture, folks. Because down the road, you had Mel McKay, the only man that has passed many of the tests that you have to regulate the county. Therefore, you've got, the big picture's got to be looked at. One other quick thing. The TWRA is wanting to put a handicap ramp on Bevins Road for handicap fishermen. Fine deal. But we're already parking in the road. We will, as a community, oppose that unless there's two things happen. One is that the road be improved, because we had a wreck yesterday on the curve there where the guardrail is. That's 11th Road, of course. Secondly, parking has got to be increased. And the only way you can increase it is by a campground, which doesn't need to be there anyway, because it's going to wash away eventually. I'm done.
Ms. Whitney.
I would just like to say, I just want to make a small comment. I would just like to say that everyone on this commission was elected and should be respected regardless of how they vote. And they should not be criticized after the vote. I just want to say that. But I think that each commissioner here is a family and a friend. I can guarantee you call on me to help you with a personal issue that was legal, I will do what it took to help you. And I would just like to make that comment to what's happening here.
Thank you. Good. We're all working together. Like I said, we don't need to make it personal or be mad at somebody. If you see somebody walk in, you shouldn't be mad at them. You know, we're trying to get this thing worked out. It's part of it. So definitely not make it personal. Anything is to make us stronger, improve relations moving forward. Anybody else? If not, your motion to.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.